Hello, peoples. Hello, peoples. Welcome in. Hi, I am Chef Jay Tay. Happy to see all of you. Welcome back. Hello there, they can see me. Welcome in, Nan Reader. Hello, JK4T. Oh, let's see. I think that's it for start of tonight. JK, I need your theme submission for your photo contest win. We're gonna be doing smash burgers later this month for Noimu, who got the clip of the month. Welcome in, Zahara. Hello, Gold for XP. Welcome, welcome. Rinse our filter out for our coffee. Not sure if this is the pan I should use for this tonight. I might not use that pan. I know this is crucial to all of your viewing tonight, whether I use that pan or not, or whether... Fine dining dish or the complete opposite with a Chicago beef sandwich. Either can be done. I would want to know, like, what fine dining dish you're after. Chicken salad with cottage cheese and boiled eggs. Hopefully that just cut out for me and not all of you. Chicken salad. You're not worried about which one came first, you're eating them both. I will say the problem with a lot of fine dining dishes, not that I'm more than willing to do some nice fine dining food or try my attempts at it. The problem with it is a lot of it is it's our cured thing that took 3 weeks to do, you know, or it's multiple in-house pickled things, or Hello, Will. Or perhaps it's like a jello or gelatin product that you need to wait to allow it to set, like a little bit like last night's, but last night's pretty much well set. And I put a photo in the Discord that the cherries and the gel did mostly set. Like, it wasn't pouring it all in there. It was maybe a little more jiggly than I would have desired, but just for myself at home, it doesn't really matter. And I didn't use, like, I could have easily used gelatin or something else instead of... I just didn't. Hey, Soph. Chat, if the light starts flickering, let me know. Like, it doesn't seem to be bothering me so much tonight with this. But if anyone else notices this light flickering in front of me, please let me know. Thank you all for joining me tonight. Cheers. So we're starting chopping. Whole lots of chopping. I'm going to start off by doing the jambalaya tonight. Jambalaya. I don't know how to properly pronounce it, I don't think. I've never been properly corrected by... Hello, Melvin. Starting with an onion, yellow onion. And I'm not going for a very small chop on this dice. We're going pretty large on this. At least by my standards. I'll live with it. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to use you for tonight. I have this full. I'm not using this pan tonight. This is full of simple syrup that I made for the hummingbirds. Which I probably should have filled that up earlier tonight, but I didn't get to it. I got sidetracked by side projects. Side quests of life. Why was I over here? Oh, giant cooking pot. Ginormous cooking pot. Enormous. It's at least the 5th or 6th largest pan I own. Give this a quick scrub out, since it's probably had 24 pans in and out of it while it's been hanging out down here, over there. Okay, you're for Dutch baby. We're moving these over here, this back here, so we have more room for that. Alright, so we got that set, and I know that's where that's going now. Now we can ignore that and go back to cutting things. Culpa. I think it's talking about the cured Italian meat and not Copacabana. Wow, I'm being very successful at getting this all in the bowl. Stay. Damn it. Stay. saw that onion. Did you see that, chat? It's still trying to escape. I'm going a little heavy on celery tonight. Chicken and andouille. Yeah, I sort of wish I still had my cutting celery growing. Like, it was annoying as a plant, and it was one of those plants just wanted to take over everything. Very prolific, at least where I am here, where this is a very native area. The Sonoma area is very good for growing celery. Yeah, it's woody, but you get such flavor out of it. You know, it's almost like using lemongrass, but with celery flavor. Yep, that's what would have to do if I was going to do it again. And I have a container that I should be using for that sort of a thing right now, but I haven't done anything really with it. Well, I don't know. I didn't do the whole curl and twist dealio. If I'm picking out individual peppers, I do tend to look for the four-sided ones so that they're easier to cut. No, because I used to actually believe this before I looked into it. But not because one is male or female, according to the number of sides they have. Like, there's people that believe that there's different number of sides pepper gives you different flavor because it's a different sex, when it's most likely they just got peppers from different places at different times. Nice. Hopefully you haven't enjoy, and hopefully you haven't destroyed your taste buds. It's been a minute since I've done anything with, like, habanero or hotter. I do jalapeno pretty often, but... And usually the only times that I bother with, And usually the only times that I jump for the Scotch bonnets or the habaneros these days is because I'm doing some jerk seasoning stuff. Well, it's getting to be where I wish I could know the difference between the two and whether that's reality or not. Especially, I hate... hate is the wrong word, but I extremely dislike the use of gates for things that aren't, like, actual crimes, and, well, this is sort of an actual crime, but aren't, like, serious crimes, and aren't political. But has anyone heard of what happened, this was probably a couple of years ago now, Peppergate? Where one of the major pepper companies just started sending out just whatever they felt like to people. And so all sorts of people are growing very, like, not cool peppers, thinking they're growing cool peppers. Or were. I don't know if it's been... Yeah, in like, one of the major houses for people who buy seeds for at home, especially in the pepper area. I don't remember the details. Like I said, it was probably 2-3 years ago now. happens with all sorts of stuff. Like, vast majority of fish gets mislabeled too. It looks like a flounder. Let's put it on there for that label. We have some local smoked andouille, some Sonoma smoked andouille. Please open. I guess I gotta cut it a little tighter. I'll come up here. Yep, that sounds about right what I was thinking, Melvin. Yeah, that's why I said it was a crime, but it's not Watergate crime. Going with chicken after we get our sausage going. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. A lot of people thinking they're going to get rich when they're in the middle of perhaps the largest industry consolidation in modern history. Like, going with all of this. And we're just giving this a little bit of a light sear. Get the fats released into the pan. Get them working with everything early. Other good thing about that green plastic is when it shatters, which that one did, but it was my fault, not like the grocer or anyone. When it breaks, it's pretty obvious where the green... That's a piece of celery, but otherwise it's pretty obvious where the green is. Makes it much easier to spot there's something I don't want there in there. And right now I'm just checking that there's no bone chips, because while this is a pretty good chicken of the chickens that I've ate in my life, main flavor could maybe be better, but otherwise pretty good product. Other than we get bone spurs and chips on chicken thighs all the time. And these were all pretty good. We got 1 or 2 pieces on for these. Let's see how our sausages are browning up. Oh, so in Denver, you get the cold and the altitude. It makes all your baking so much easier. Oh, that sounds lovely, Soph. Bundle up. Why? Is it that bad? Like, I just thought you would have to sit there and alter each of their recipes a little bit in order to give them a little more oomph in certain cases. Most of my experience with that state would be driving through and stopping in Park City. Alright, heat off on our peppers. On our sausage. Tired of bothering with that. Okay, heat's back on there. We're going to take our chickens and skin side up them so that we can season them. It's in Utah, sorry. I don't know why I got those two confused. And not looking to cook this chicken truly through at this point. We're looking to render some of the fat, but get that sear, get the fond going on the bottom of the pan. Get us some beautifully flavored oil to use for our dark roux. Pretty sure they both own a pretty minuscule amount. I mean, I know Bill Gates has been buying farmland as an investment, but in many cases it's more like investing in farmland. Rather than like outright ownership. Ted Turner still around? You ever make his path going from Mexico to Canada? At least that's what I understand he stated he wanted to be able to do. He wanted to be able to ride his horse from Mexico to Canada. He's probably right with that investment. Like, if I had the money to invest in that, I'd probably be doing it myself. Like, technology is going to have major impacts on how much land we actually need for farming. I mean, it already is, and we're already using drones and remotely piloted, all sorts of tractor equipment. I couldn't think of anything specific at the time, and the harvesters basically drive themselves based off of GPS. And it's just gonna get even more. Well, yeah, that's sort of the who's gonna have the most energy. Is it U.S. or U.S. or China? Sorry, Canada, you're not really in this race as much as I like you. I mean, everyone says, like, China can just build things and be like, yeah, that's how we want to do it. Here in the U.S., we have all sorts of regulations and stuff that can potentially slow things down. We do have a government that's right now just slashing everything, including all of the emissions basically on vehicles. Like, there's next to nothing on vehicles now. China is pushing nuclear tech in several areas. Yeah, because they got like how many billion people to deal with? Like, a vast majority of their population is making the transition from not having toilets to internet age. Like, yeah, they're gonna need a lot of electricity. Heat off on this. That's been off for a moment. This is also a nice heavy bottom pan. So I guess we're not really doing cast iron jambalaya tonight, since I'm using a stainless steel pan. but it's still relatively thick. Okay, next steps here. We need to make roux. It's roux time. Let's get these large crispy bits out of here. I'm going to add a bit more oil in there. Nuclear Boy Scout? Yeah, you could call it a reactor. He was sort of doing a breeder reactor. It's not what most people would think of as... Like, he was taking apart smoke detectors for Americanum and doing something weird with it. Later on, I think he was doing something with radon. Like, did not have his head screwed on right. Like, doing that stuff without proper shielding, or... I wouldn't even know where... Like, I've read a fair amount about this. I wouldn't even know where to start. Yes, do not recommend. Radon, not good time. Poor radon girls. You want to talk about corporate greed. Ooh, enjoy. I think we need some more flour in that pan. That roux looks too wet to me. Who's got the guac? Now we're perhaps too dry. Yep. By the way, on the list of things do you not want to get on your skin, this ranks probably in the top 10. Like, this is up there with molten sugar. It just sticks. And the water doesn't rinse it off. It just keeps burnt. Same thing as sugar. Like, it's the exact same sort of premise. This will just stick and not wash off easily. It needs to be almost like physically removed while it's burning your skin. Yeah, fun time. Pico you made is good with chips, but too spicy. I blame the chef. And if I'm the chef there, I blame the peppers. We're going for a dark roux. It's just going to take us a moment to get there. We do have some nice beginning color there. We're starting to get brown. Or at least a khaki. What color brown would you call this, chat? It's perhaps a little light for peanut butter at this point. Maybe almond butter? Now we're starting to get a little more peanut buttery. Yeah, the burns on this stuff are just horrendous. Let me show you. I said that to the back camera like you couldn't see me when I'm facing you this way. Starting to get smoky. Okay, I'm turning the heat off on the pan. Those pans got, like I said before, pretty thick bottom, so we're going to allow that to continue cooking this for a bit. Wow, I get some stock available. And some veggies. We're gonna go veggies first. And turn that heat back on. Salt, and with the onions, Onions are a bit larger than the peppers and celery, so I'm giving them a little bit longer. I just tend to do onions before the other two anyways. Whether it's celery and carrots or celery and green pepper or sofrito or half dozen other things. Fan feels good. Alright, let's go in with the rest. Bit more salt. Something I should have been doing earlier, and I feel sorry for not doing earlier. I should have been using Tony's instead of salt, essentially, for this entire meal. Yes, when it comes to Creole, Cajun, New Orleans cuisine, locals may have their favorites that are different than this, but the non-locals, the tourists, go for this. It's largely cayenne, and I do suggest you get the no salt blend. However, I have the salt version, but you can mostly substitute cayenne for. It's not quite the same though. You can do some pepper in here too. Alright, now we're adding stock in there. We're getting... Yeah. scraping up all that flavor off the bottom of the pan. Come on, rinse off. Like I said, the stuff just sticks. You get it coated on there with it, and it just doesn't wash off. Still stuck. That was actually a pretty good demonstration of how it just sticks. It just sticks. And we have a pre-roll running, so I am going to run a 3-minute ad. "17 minutes early, but also almost an hour late, so... Let's see here. What other prep can we do here? I think we can actually maybe do a little of our... Dutch baby prep tonight. Refreshing my memory of what the recipe is like for doing these. It's been a minute since I made one. Oh, hey, I guess, well, I won't do that. Eggs. Starting with eggs. Hold on to this for me. I'm giving our 3 eggs a pretty good whisk up here, getting them nice and broken up, perhaps lightly frothy. That wasn't enough. We need more. I need more. Generous 3/4 cup. Vanilla. Splash of lemon. Turn in our currently gumbo, but going to be jambalaya down a bit. Those unfamiliar, jambalaya gumbo basically depends on where the rice is. Is it on the side? Is it mixed and cooked in? Little bit of sugar. And some flour, which this is probably this is a good candidate to sift. And I'm trying to whisk it in as I sift it in so that it's still going to clump up a little bit because it settles in the top and sort of clumps as you mix it in, but it's going to clump up a lot less, and it's not going to have clumps that want to stick together as much. We're also going to give this batter a good 20 minutes or so here to rest and not have any gluten effects on our product, really. We're not trying to develop the gluten, really. We're just trying to get it incorporated quickly. Flour sifting, I don't do flour sift enough. I need to sift flour more often. I used to do it more often. That was when I had a bunch of sifters that were easy to grab and still had their handles on them, and I don't really have a separate, like, they make flour sifters. I'm just not in love with them because they're one of those products that's almost designed to be like, they're not easy to clean. It's like designed to be like, oh, it's just flour, it's fine, it'll be out. I turned you down, you're still vigorously bubbling. You need to calm down. Gonna go ahead and add our meats back in there. Our andouille sausage and our chicken. Just leaving the chicken thighs whole. Just gonna mash them in there with the rice later on after they're fall apart cooked through. I'm so tempted to want to add a leavener in this too. I'm not going to. I'm going to follow the recipe as they're known. I'm going to take my cast iron pan, which I'm going to wipe this little bit of excess oil out of it. And we're going to preheat it in the oven so that the pan is 400 degrees. This is one of those recipes where cast iron really shines, but I mean, it could be done easily with a heavy metal pan as well, but it's a cast iron recipe. But let's be honest, it's really for cast iron. Down into the oven you go. Oven set to 400. And that is preheating. And we're letting that set. We've got all of you going lovely. Our currently gumbo is looking gorgeous. I love the color on that. I know it's not looking all that great on camera at the moment, but I'm watching the stats at the top, which are sort of working. There's also supposed to be another overlay that's not coming down there. That's supposed to be more of a separator and put a darker background behind it. I think this is a great chance to take a little bit of an AFK here. How are we doing here time-wise? How are we doing time an hour? All that good jazz. Yeah, this is our normal time to do an ad. I think I'm going to do a 10-minute AFK while this bubbles. I think I'm going to leave the music going and just do a timer. And mute everything. And I'll see all your lovely faces back here in about 10 minutes. Hello. Welcome in, everyone. Hi there, Mimic. Mimic. Happy to see you, Skip. If you're still hanging around, sorry you came in right when I was going to a break. It's our oven beeping that it's come to 400 degrees for our Dutch baby. So I think it's next up here we need to get our caramel rolling. Let's see, how long does this Dutch baby take? Cooking wise. Yeah. We're gonna get everything else prepped here first. We're gonna start with, I'm using some green bananas, but I bought green bananas because I'm hoping they last. And these are gonna be getting a little heat, so it's not the end of the world if they're a little. Oh, hey, we can turn the camera back on, can't we? Hi. You open your bananas from the flower end, right? Split, please. Thank you. Whoa. That's a bomber. butter with brown sugar. Get out here. Jeez. I actually really sort of like bananas, but I so rarely buy them. Like, just for myself, I anything over 3 or 4, and they're pushing it as far as how old they get by the time I can consume them. So we're gonna melt some butter in that pan. That's gonna take a moment to melt down. We can do a 1/4 cup, I think. Do a heaping 1/4 cup here. Maybe we can even do a little bit more than that, but we'll wait. That's why banana bread was invented. Well, that is a sort of part of this plan. That is sort of why I've gone with the green bananas. That's because I believe it's next Monday. Pretty sure it's next Monday. Is Banana Bread Day. Planning ahead. That way they'll be nice and brown and ready to use. I actually probably should have bought more, because that way I could have ate a couple, but here we are. I don't know, I've really smelled bananas. These don't really have a ton of smell. Sort of wish that we could have lived in the age of being able to enjoy Cavendishes. Or are these Cavendishes and the old ones some other name that I'm forgetting? Just about every informative video I've ever seen about bananas has pointed this out. But did you know that old candy actually tastes like bananas? It just doesn't taste like modern bananas? Every candy company in the world that has banana flavored candy is like, please let us keep our market. just basically used for roux, so. Yeah, I need to work on the stat bar. Stat bar needs work. Stat bar needs stats. Sugar, already over here. Yeah, we're doing more than that. Excuse me. So during the break, I suddenly got the urge to rewatch The Godfather. I'd rather do this with the wooden spoon than the spatula. It's been a minute since I've watched that movie. Or movies. Okay. I'll be here. Making caramel. Making something else I'm not supposed to get on my skin. Alright, turn the heat down on the caramel for now. Because that's doing okay. You just want to keep that nice and warm for right now. I saw someone in chat there, but didn't respond just yet. Oh, hey, they can see me. Turned out pretty good. I put photos in the Discord. Okay, so we got our caramel started back here. We got this going up here. I need some more butter for up there. I still got some of the stew. Not a fan of the asparagus. Like, there was definitely, despite that asparagus having been, like, cooked to the point of being fall apart in the can, it was still woody. Like, is very, like, first off, I was sort of put off by the fact that they sold it as asparagus tips. And basically it was nothing but big, heavy, woody stems. But the fact that it was actually woody stems, that really got me going. Okay, so we got our butter for the... Next thing we're going to do is we're going to do our Dutch baby, which is sort of a quick thing. We're just going to do this on the stove real quick. We've got our 3 pats of butter, our 3 tablespoons of butter, and our batter. Cook the heat up on that flame, and we're going to pull this pan that's been preheating at a 400-degree oven for quite a while. We're going to drop our butter pats in there. We're going to ditch our whisk and pour the batter just in there. In the pan. In the sink with all that. And then back into the 400-degree oven. We'll start preheating our pan for doing our bananas Foster. I need you. And a little bit of you, even though you're not traditional. I think you're going to be tasty in this. We're going to do some dark rum. And some Grand Marnier. I think we might actually just finish it in with the caramel here. I was debating whether I wanted to use the top to get the bananas going separate from the caramel, but I think our caramel is looking pretty good here. So let's go ahead and add our bananas in there. This is a classic tableside one. I've actually been taught this tableside more than once. I'm definitely not doing it tableside wise. I'm not doing it the way they do it tableside, rather. Also, caramel. No touchy. No get on hands. Bananas, as they cook here a little bit, are gonna release a little bit of moisture into our caramel. This is gonna continue to help our caramel. And I'm just waiting for it all to get up to temp to us so that I can flame things. Need the cinnamon out for that. I think we'll leave it with that. If you do a table side, they do a table side, which classically in New Orleans, this is done table side as well. It's the cinnamon adds to the show quite a bit, because you can add the cinnamon to the party as it's flaming, and the cinnamon will cinder off into the air and look all pretty. You're probably burning and ruining the cinnamon actual flavor, but it looks good. All right, we're warm enough now where I think we're gonna add our booze. And flame that. Flame. Flame. And then you add your cinnamon in there. And it gets all also be careful, because alcohol flames can continue to burn without you being able to see them. And I'm turning the heat off on that. Traditionally, this is just done with rum, not with an orange liqueur as well. So I went with orange and dark rum for our booze, which might have been part of the reason that it didn't flame up nicely. Like, I had to go for the stick lighter. Hi there. I add a cup of water to our currently gumbo. That'll mostly just take a bit of that disappeared from boiling. Add that back in. We'll get this back up to a boil. And we're going to add the rice in there. I set a timer finally for my pancake. I don't know if it's really right or not, but I'm going to let that go another 6 minutes. Doesn't have to be exactly a cup. I'm just using a rough cup measure there to give me a rough idea of how much is going to be taken out of this. I guess I can bring up the heat to bring this back up to a boil too. So, chat, if you want gumbo, you stop here with that and you cook the rice separately. We're not making gumbo. Gumbo's delicious. Should add some freeze-dried thyme and parsley if I can find them. They still exist in here. There's thyme. I don't think I have any. Oh, there is parsley too. Freeze-dried thyme. I wish I could freeze dry thyme. Freeze-dried parsley. And rice going in. have much Maker's Mark. You're going to make me have to go out and get a different bottle of bourbon for the ingredient challenge next week. Or actually, that's this week, isn't it? We're actually supposed to close that today, aren't we? Okay, bourbon wins. Wednesday, dinner and dessert featuring bourbon. I'm giving that a little longer. We have an interesting looking Dutch baby in the oven. A little bit more. Bananas look delicious. Like they're cooked through, they're yummy. They're no longer hard and green, they're soft and delicious. Coated in caramel and rum and Grand Marnier and cinnamon. And they're gonna go on a big pancake. I guess you could call it a pancake. Cat's like, it's definitely a pancake. Sorry for the chalk on fingernails on a chalkboard sound there. I am going to cut the heat on our jambalaya / gumbo. We're going to say goodbye for a couple minutes. Put a sheet pan over the top of that to act as a pseudo lid. It's almost time for pancake to come out. Oh yeah, that's a Dutch baby. That's gonna collapse, but it's gorgeous. Poofy. It's got character and a big bunch of butter still bubbling on the top of it. Sort of like a giant popover. Alright, so let's add our bananas into that party. And caramel. And there you have it, folks. A very hot pan that I just wanted to try and grab for some reason. With a banana sauce or Dutch baby in it. We finish this with a bit of powdered sugar. I'm going to take a photo or two first and then powder sugar it. Make sure I don't hide everything with the powdered sugar. I don't think I will. Roulettes. I like me some roulettes. I know they're sort of like a poor man's pate, but I like it. You know, some chunky, fatty, overcooked pork just smeared onto some crusty bread. Some pepper and mustard. Mmm. Gimme it. Just like this. thoroughly coated in powdered sugar, so you almost can't tell what's there anymore. But that will fade as that continues to hydrate. It's already half disappeared. But the Dutch baby turned out nicely. It's nice and fluffy and poofed up well over the edge. I was on the edge of going too far with it. I think I did okay with it. But we were getting close to getting too much color on the bottom of it. I think I did pretty good with that, though. It was longer than it was supposed to. Which... the center of it just looked like it needed more. Oh, that's delicious. Definitely recommend Grand Marnier in that mix. It's not traditional, it's delicious without it. So don't go out there and say you have to buy both because I said so. It's just delicious. How are we looking on our rice over here? We're getting there. I want to give that another 2 or 3 minutes. Or 4. And put the Tonys away. Well, actually, no. Let's use Tonys for finishing. I'm just going to pour it in the bowl and go with it tonight, chat. I'm not going to add much in the way of garnish for tonight's jambalaya. I already know it's delicious. We got all sorts. I added all sorts of freeze-dried thyme and freeze-dried parsley. And so there's all sorts of herbage there. It's just not necessarily, you know, cutesy herbs on top. Cook rice. Cook. Magically cook. Absorb all that liquid. One more minute. Una más. It's about the extent of my Spanish knowledge these days. I wish I had picked up more in college. I tried in college. It just did not stick. Even went to a tutor and all that for Spanish and just... Feel sorry because my teacher was great. He was... It was absolutely not his fault. Perhaps on the looser end of things with the jambalaya, but I like it. I think this is gonna be awesome. I don't want to add more rice to that. I don't want to. Maybe bordering on gumbo territory, being so soupy instead of being more bound up with rice and being closer to dirty rice. I don't care. It's gonna be delicious. So we'll do a bit of Tony's over the top. And that'll conclude our use of Tony's for tonight. Tony Cachiaris. Alright, we got photos for later. What, I'm out of those two? Nice and soft bananas. Did you just die? I think my mic died just for the finish. Go ahead and plug you right in. There we go. So we got our still chunks of thigh meat, chicken in there with our andouille sausage, our onions, our rice, our green pepper, our celery, and that dark roux giving us all of that deep color in there. Our bananas Foster with caramel, delicious, delicious caramel, and a somewhat thick pancake. I think that turned out fabulous. Aw, darn it. We went to ads. Darn it. Boo. Boo, ads, boo. Ooh, the bot calls this a cake. Or no, checking on the stew and the cake, that was last night. That, even though that wasn't really a cake either. Yeah, it's a bummer. Everyone should be back now from them, but it's a bummer that I just gotta time them, and I gotta add back my alerts and stuff and things. One of the biggest problems with dropping off of StreamerBot was that StreamerBot could send me audio alerts separate from OBS. Like, if it plays in OBS, basically y'all are hearing it, plus me. StreamerBot could play a sound or announce something to my ear, and I guess I can do that through many other programs as well, but I have to figure out how I'm going to go about that now, probably off of an API or something. Anyways. Fun times. Dinner is going to be great. I'm looking forward to all of this. I appreciate all of you hanging out with me till the end of tonight's stream. It was a long one. Almost 3 hours here. 2 hours and 45 minutes. Let's see. Let's do a little bit of a raid out here. Maybe we can find someone. I think we're going to leave it there for tonight. I look forward to seeing all of you back here for Wednesday for Bourbon Ingredient Challenge night. Going to be doing bourbon in dinner and dessert in some form. I got some ideas brewing already. I look forward to seeing you back then. I hope you all have a great start to your week, great first half of your